In the quest for human survival, there are many types of quests. One is the quest for food. So, and another one is the quest for shelter. And then finally, there's the quest to defend ourselves from an asteroid that destroys the Earth and resets everything. So, Phil Plait in his TED Talk talks about how we can, defend ourselves from this asteroids. And interestingly, I would say that we can make an analogy between how we defend ourselves from asteroids to how we how we deal with debt in the current financial crisis. So the first way is to blow it up. Oh yeah, sorry. And the key point is that it's really difficult to move the Earth to dodge the asteroid. So Phil makes this point. He says that generally if we're trying to dodge a car, we would just, move ourselves, but in this case, the Earth is really hard to move, so instead we try and deflect the asteroid. And so the first way is to blow it up. This is equal to, debt forgiveness, and would lead to, it's really difficult to do, to detonate a nuke on contact of an asteroid, so it doesn't work very well. The other way is to deflect it, so we launch something into the asteroid which changes its projection so that it, this is number 2, boom, so that it veers off away from the Earth. And you can think of this as bailouts. So unfortunately, the way that it's been working so far is that, and this is the same with asteroids, is that if the Earth is going around this orbit around the Sun, and this is the asteroid heading towards it, we deflect it so that it goes through this quote-unquote keyhole. Then later, much later, when the Earth is over here, maybe this is 3 years, this asteroid, which had started here, gone through this keyhole through the Earth's atmosphere, is affected by the Earth's gravity, so that it's being pulled so that it'll hit the Earth later. And this is partly the case with bailouts. You're sort of deflecting the problem so that you deal with more debt in the future. And then there's what Phil calls the ion drive, and this is where you send a little thing that's kind of heavy, maybe a couple tons, by the asteroid so that it's being pulled, its gravity is being affected by this little thing, and slowly veers the thing off the course of hitting the Earth. And in this case, that could be sort of like tax cuts or various, job stimuli, to sort of reduce the debt through value creation. And the thing is that unlike how we deal with asteroids, these ways of dealing with debt is just not very effective. And the reason why, in my opinion, and this is the insight, is that the cause of debt problems is actually, people who spend too much, and essentially it's just the individual actions of people rather than an actual object that's foreign that we can deal with. And so the conclusion is just that in terms of being big, the analogy is that when you're big like the Earth, it's really hard to make the Earth move. So that's sort of like when you're really a big organization, like a nation that's in a lot of debt, then being big makes self-change pretty difficult. This is sort of why as you get bigger, it becomes easier to actually make the other change. And so that's the case in how we deal with asteroids. We're really big, we can't step out of the way of the asteroid coming into our projection, so we make the asteroid move. And because we're big, it makes it so that it's actually somewhat organizationally possible, because you can get a bunch of really smart people and, to identify when the asteroid is heading towards us, and gathering the resources and just really specializing and focusing on this problem, as opposed to when you're being big and the problem is actually caused by your own individual actions, getting yourself to change is really difficult. And so it's just making that distinction.